Joe, what's up, buddy? You're here first. Wow, I'm impressed by that. What's going on, buddy? Hey, Lisa. So, Lee Camp is going to say some things here, and I am going to sympathize and agree with, and support, and double, and triple, and quadruple down upon. So let's get started right away. Listen to what he says here. This is great.
There's some shit will be talked about, okay? And if you can't handle that, I sometimes get angry about the shit that's going on in this world, then this isn't the show for you. I'm sorry.
Isn't that great? If you can't handle that I get angry about some of the shit that's going on in the world, then this show isn't for you. Now, I couldn't have stated that better myself. He put that into perfect words, didn't he? Do you guys want to hear him say that again? Some shit will be talked about.
I'm gonna talk about some other stuff. I'm gonna give it all away. There's some shit will be talked about.
Some shit will be talked about.
And,
hey, Vincent.
If you can't handle that, I sometimes get angry about the shit that's going on in this world, then this isn't the show for you.
He's talking to his audience members, Vincent. He's talking to people that watch his show. You know, like you're watching my show. Some people don't like when I yell. They don't know how to turn the volume down. They don't know how to mute me if they get upset. They don't know how to pause it or, you know, take a break and come back or whatever. They get upset. They're always yelling and they don't hear anything and they leave and they shut down. Yeah, this probably isn't the show for you then. You know, if you can't handle somebody getting pissed off about what's going on the planet the way they should, you know, if you've been coddled and acted like a fucking baby your whole life, and if anyone ever raises their voice around you and you get instant fucking panic attacks from it, this probably isn't the show for you. You know? And what's funny is, Lee Camp, he doesn't yell, he doesn't scream. So I just want to say to whoever that audience member that sent him the message and said, hey man, you should stop yelling if you want to get your message out. Hey bro, come check out my show. And then come crawling back to fucking Lee Camp when I've shattered your fucking eardrums. Alright? You don't know what fucking yelling is. I'm not talking to Lee. I'm talking to this audience member that sent him that message. He doesn't know what fucking yelling is. And if you're accusing Lee Camp of it, like I said, come on over. Come on by. Stop and set a spell. And then you can go crawling back to Lee and beg him for his passionate fucking reporting that he does. Where he doesn't fucking scream at you. You don't know what fucking screaming is. You fucking pussies. You have no idea. So get the fuck out of here if you don't get it. Alright? But I digress. Lee goes on and on and on about this, and it gets better. So let's listen and smoke, shall we?
I got an email from someone saying, I don't
Cheers.
like your screaming. And I was like, okay, please say new studies show that the U.S. has killed 6 million people over the past 20 years. Please say that in a calm voice. Please sit here and quietly in a Bob Ross ASMR voice tell me how the U.S. has killed 6 million people over the past 20 years. Okay? That's what my latest YouTube video was about. Please say that in a calm, right over there we have the American Empire as you know, like a tour guide voice. Has killed roughly 6 million people, responsible for the death of those individuals. And I'm going to say that in a nice, calm voice and never get animated at all. And it's just lovely to see the fact that we've killed...
Lee, let me break in here for a second. I got you, bro. Fuck American imperialism, okay? And I support anybody who's anti-American imperialism. Right now, that's Russia. Fuck American imperialism. Hey, Bad Blue Jaws, what's up, buddy?
6 million people, which is, what a lot of people like to point to as the number of Jews that the Nazis killed, 6 million. By the way, the Nazis killed far more than that because you got to also throw in there millions of others, such as Roma or black folks or handicapped. So really it was over 6 million, but people like to talk about the 6 million Jews killed. And now the U.S. has hit that mark. And that's just in the past 20 years. That's right. And now I'm gonna eat some nice yogurt while I do this for you. While I tell you about the 6 million people we've killed. Please do that without yelling. All right. If you can, then there's something fucking wrong with you. Then you've got a fucking some sort of tumor that's pressing on the part of your brain that should have emotion about death and horrible shit.
Yeah, and if you're one of those calm cunts, I don't want you here. I don't fucking want you here. If you can't feel passion and display passion to get other people riled up like I do, like Lee Camp does, then you're watching the wrong fucking show, man. Go watch, like he said, go watch some ASDM or whatever the fuck that shit is. You know, go watch some fucking Bob Ross and get the fuck off my goddamn live show. I love this shit.
There should be some screaming.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping that for those of you that still tune into my show, those of you that jumped all the hurdles to follow the most censored comedian in this country, I hope that you did so because you were like, he is the appropriate level angry. I hope that's one of the reasons.
No, Lee, I love your anger. That's why you're like my number one go-to guy. But I gotta say, I got you beat, bro. I got you beat. At the level of anger selection, yeah. You're on like a 7. And I'm like on a fucking 11.5, bro. You know? I would rather see you at about a 9 or a 10. To you know, I'd rather see you at a 9 or 10. I love your humor, but I'd rather see the humor replaced with outbursts of rage instead. Like, that's what I do. And I would just like to see more rage from people. Everybody. Lee included.
There's a lot of reasons, but I hope that's one of them. But anyway, let's get into this. But please note, please put it in your calendars. I am now every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at noon Eastern. Fridays are for members only at leecamp.net. All the rest are at rumble.com/leecamp. And a lot of it is on other platforms as well. Many of you are watching and listening and reading comments on other platforms. But the main place is rumble.com/leecamp. And then the Fridays at noon Eastern /9 a.m. Pacific are members only at leecamp.net. Anyway, let's get into it. And I'm going to start off, I'm going to get into the details of why it seems evident that this is the end of the American century, that this move in Ukraine.
Yeah, I take criticism all the time. If your criticism isn't fucking accurate, though, I call you the dumb cunt that you are, Joe H. You know, this has nothing to do with taking criticism, you fucking dumb cunt. Why the fuck did you even bring that up, you fucking stupid cunt bitch? You're an idiot. And you know what? I'm just gonna block you right now. Right off the bat. I'm blocking you right now, dude. I'm blocking you. Bye. You're fucked. Fuck off. I'm not even gonna get into this bullshit with you today. Alright? Everybody else, welcome to the show, man. We got rid of the fucking little cunt. And the rest of us can have some fun now and learn something. You know, I'm not going off track with Joe H today.
And I'm not saying Russia's not the invader. They are the invader, but it is a proxy war. So
I didn't just block him. I called him a dumb cunt while I did it.
This proxy war is
because he knows he is a dumb
the end
cunt.
of the American century, and apparently our ruling elite are just head so far up the ass.
Oh, what's the matter, Joe? You thought my mom was home? Should have checked your calendar, dumbass.
I've just fucked up that royally.
My door's open. She ain't.
For the world to see the end of the American century. I think it probably will be. But let's get into this. So this is at Popular Resistance. Why? And I'm going to do this before I get into the details of why this is the end of the American century. But Washington is starting the blame game, and I did a segment on this before, so don't think I'm repeating myself. These are more details about Washington starting the blame game for who they're going to blame the loss in Ukraine.
Hey, Mom, you lucky bitch. My mom's home. So I've got to grab the newspaper, and then I'll be right back. And close my door. I got my newspapers. You know, one thing I have not had yet today is coffee. Let me go make some coffee too. Okay, the coffee is being made, so I'm going to come in here and hang out. It takes like 2 minutes for the coffee. So, this is Roe v. Wade overturned. And here's all the fucking dumb cunts that we allow to rule us. These fucking cunts. And they are fucking cunts. And I agree, the Supreme Court should be dissolved. And the people on it should be forgotten forever. So that's the front page news. Lots of gun crime going on all of a sudden in Florida. Wow, look at all these are all gun crime. These are all gun crime. Standoff ends with man suicide. Man who held woman captives for 5 days charged. Deputies arrest man carrying sawed-off shotgun at Walmart. Amazing, huh? Look at all this gun crimes going on all of a sudden. Yeah, free up all the guns for everybody. Yeah, way to go, Supreme Court. Yeah, great timing, Supreme Court. Great timing. So there's nothing in here about the war in Ukraine on the front page, right? Opinion, abortion. There's a little opinion piece here in the letter to the editor about Ukraine. Focus on brave Ukrainians, not corrupt Trump. Yeah, fuck you, brave Ukrainians. Fuck them. Fucking just cost us fucking $100 billion. You just cost because you guys don't know how to leave ethnic Russians alone. You fucking cunt Ukrainians cost the whole world $100 billion. So fuck you. Look at this shit. Focus on brave Ukrainians. Fucking cunts. Fuck them. I think my coffee's ready. Bunch of devils in black. Yeah, right? All power trippers. Yeah, right? We're still on the Supreme Court? Okay, I'm talking about something else, but that's cool. I'm going to go grab my covfefe. I'll be right back. guys are ready for a show. You guys ready for a show? Some of you yes, some of you no. All right. Oops. Oh, that's why it keeps falling over, because I'm doing that all the time. Okay. I'm gonna have to make like a more permanent solution here. But I think what we got going on. Oh yeah, I gotta put these blinds down. That. Dude, I'm so glad I remembered my blinds. Holy shit. I heard every freaking word I was saying. Okay, and now we're gonna put this blind down. Oh, that's what it was getting stuck on. Okay. Now I know. Now I am in the know. No. Okay, now we do the pillows for extra sound absorption. Okay. Very, very good, very good. Okay. I want to get too OCD like I did yesterday and spill coffee on myself again. Cuck bitches. Okay, are we ready? So, you go into the paper, you know, and it's like, you got to get to the second section here. Right? So this is the second section. This is called Nation and the World. Now, when you know, the mainstream media thought they had the ability to fool Americans into thinking that we were winning the war in Ukraine, that Ukraine was beating Mother Russia, you know, world superpower. The little tiny Ukraine was fucking defeating. They were putting that shit front and center on the front page. It's right on the front page. They're like, oh, look, we're winning. Send billions of dollars over there so we can keep winning, because America loves to win. And you're winning. Well, guess what? Guess what happened? Oh, you don't see it on the front page. Oh, but here you go. Second page. At the bottom, even. It's not even on the front page of the second section. It's at the bottom. But look at that. Wow. What? Battered Ukraine. Forces start retreat from Svendonsk, or however you say that. Those words are hard to say. Svrondetsk. I'd love to learn how to say that word. Sidorovnetsk. I don't know. Nay is waiting for the Tesla to land on Mars. For kids like the rest of the sane. Sucks to see you go this way, bro. Get something. What? What are you even talking about? I'm waiting for the Tesla to land on Mars. Okay, number one, what does that even mean? Number two, should have had your 4 kids like the rest of the sane. Really? I don't want 4 kids. I don't want any kids. I'm very happy without any children at all. Sucks to see you go this way, bro. Get something. Yeah, I don't understand. Preset native. I'm leaving this up so everyone can see that you don't make any sense at all. I don't even understand. I think you're just really upset about something. You just seem really hot and bothered, and you seem unable to express your words correctly at all. Because all I'm saying is, I'm not waiting for the Tesla to land on Mars. That doesn't even make sense. Those are like random words that don't even apply to me. I should have had my 4 kids like the rest of the sane. I don't have any kids, so my 4 kids, I never wanted kids. So you're telling me to do something stupid, which is produce children that aren't going to live to see the fucking, their fucking high school graduation. Yeah, great idea. Sucks to see me go this way. Yeah, I don't understand. Preset Native 2 says you understand. No, I don't. Dude, You mean after I just read through your whole fucking post and told you none of it makes any sense at all, you're not even going to explain what you meant by it? That's fucking hilarious. No, I don't understand because it doesn't make sense. It's literally just gibberish. So, Preset Native, I haven't blocked you yet. I'm giving you an opportunity to try to make some fucking sense, you dumb cunt. Can you do it? Can you make some sense? I don't blame you for not having kids. That's how I felt 25 years ago. But now, 2 kids later, I'd rather have animals. Well, Erica, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yo, you're not going to explain yourself? Okay, well, I'll block you then. Goodbye. It doesn't even, what you were saying didn't even make sense. You're mad about, you just want to be mad about something. I have a feeling that maybe you're not getting any. Maybe that's what you're mad about. But whatever it is, I mean, somebody spit on you, somebody spit in your fucking cornflakes, somebody cut you off in traffic, you've got a little dick, whatever your problem is, dude. Next time you try to troll me, it might have a little weight to it if you just try to make some sense. You know, there's a lot of shit to make fun of me about. It's unbelievable that you guys have such a hard time coming up with shit. You know? Cannabis Heals says, was that English? I don't know what that was, man. It was a confused troll. Not making any sense. Let's smoke. Let's smoke about it. Quarter of the hour, no law regarding cannabis, and I want to hear what Lee has to say here, so let's keep going. Cheers, guys.
Over.
Erica, cheers.
Who they're going to blame it on. And the fact that they're doing this, that we're starting to see this pieced out, coming out in pieces, drips and drabs and here and there, is the fact that we're seeing that shows that they know their days are numbered in Ukraine. They know Russia. Russia is fucking, the military is like 1,000 times the size of the Ukrainian military. The Ukraine military, by their own numbers, had 200,000 fighting people at the beginning of this thing. Who knows how many they have now? Okay, this is nonsense, and U.S. just wants to continue the war, and they want to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian. At which point, this will end exactly how we all thought it would
Ukraine.
end. Well, if you've got half a
fuck
brain,
Ukrainians
I guess.
and fuck Ukraine.
Anyway, this is from
fuck
the New
those
York,
Nazis.
So
how about
not
that?
all of this, but this
fuck
part
them.
is from the New York Times. The Popular Distance for Peace report calls it a rather weird article that alleged a lack of intelligence about Ukrainian warplanes. Quote, U.S. lacks a clear picture of Ukraine's war strategy, officials say. As if the U.S. doesn't know
most
every
of all,
fucking move
fuck
that's
Vladimir
going on.
Zelensky. Fuck that motherfucker.
The idea.
Most of this is
that
all
Washington
his
would
fault.
be like,
So fuck
we
that
just
guy.
didn't. We don't have a clear picture on the puppet
He begs
state.
us for money, and we bring him
in
more
our proxy
money.
war, we weren't really
Suckers.
sure what they were up to. We didn't have the binocular. It turns out there was like some sort of filth on the end of the binoculars, so we haven't been able to monitor appropriately what's going on in Ukraine.
What was the vernacular of that binocular?
So we don't know. We're waging a proxy war over there. We're funding and arming Nazis, but we don't know what they're doing against the Russians. Here's another quote from New York Times. U.S. intelligence agencies have less information than they would like about Ukraine's operations and possess a far better picture of Russia's military, its planned operations, and its successes and failures, according to current and former officials. So this is what we call in the biz lot of bullshit. Giant sack of bullshit. Big old sack of bullshit. This is the U.S. officials, the U.S. intelligence state, U.S. mainly U.S. officials, U.S. deep state, trying to come up with someone to blame for the fact that this is all backfiring to the U.S. This whole shit is just backfiring, and the U.S. is looking for someone to blame. They're looking for someone to go, yeah, it was that guy. And so they're blaming Zelensky, as I covered in a previous segment. But now they're blaming faulty intelligence. We didn't know. This is what we did in Iraq, too, right? When the WMD didn't show up, which we knew weren't there because we made up the shit in the first place. Many U.S. leaders said, it's bad
hot.
intelligence.
It's the coffee.
I'll tell you, this is the one
And it's hot outside, too.
said by U.S. leaders, I didn't have the intelligence. That is the most accurate fucking statement American leaders have ever made I didn't have the intelligence. Yeah, we know. We know you don't have the intelligence. You fucking dope.
He's
Anyway,
cursing. Oh, I can't listen to Lee Camp. He's telling curse
so this Popular
words.
Resistance writing that Andrei Marchanov rants about the New York
want a
Times
dab.
piece. So this is a quote from him. New York Times decided to start
think I'm
steering
ready.
clear of this whole Russia lost in Ukraine BS it promoted together with neocon crazies and begins this ever-familiar tune of intel failure. Right. How about I put it bluntly? The U.S. never had a clear picture on anything, especially on Russia or as a private case, the Russian invasion, and completely bought into the Ukrainian propaganda, which shows a
Yes, that's true, Lee. And if all of my audience would please tune in to Jackson Hinkle, if you guys would please go support that guy, you'll get the truth about all of this stuff. Before anybody else does, Jackson Hinkle is all over it. I highly recommend you watch that guy's channel. Jackson Hinkle, Lee Camp.
competence of the
Please,
intel
guys,
in the U.S.
please.
I actually don't believe this part.
Please.
I don't believe the U.S. didn't.
Go watch them. Go learn, man.
No. I think what the U.S. didn't know, and I can talk more about this in a minute, is they thought these sanctions would be crushing to Russia. That's what they didn't know. I
Right?
don't think they ever
Oh,
thought
our sanctions!
that Ukraine
We've got the greatest
is gonna
sanctions!
win against Russia,
We've got
against
such
a
great
far
sanctions!
more powerful military. I don't think they ever for a second
Our
thought that.
sanctions
They just
are
thought
so
they would
great. Who
mire
says
Russia
that?
into just a
You know-
fucking catastrophic.
What kind of a dumb cunt fucking says great sanctions, uses those two words in the same sentence, unless it's, ain't it great the sanctions are ending? You know, Kamala Harris is a dumb fucking cunt. And anybody who celebrates sanctions being held over anybody is a dumb fucking cunt. So fuck Kamala Harris, fuck her fucking sanctions that she claims are so great, and look at what these fucking sanctions are doing to the entire planet. Everybody except the intended victim, Russia, who seems to just be laughing all the way to the bank right now.
And they'd be able to put forward these sanctions that they thought would crush Russia. So the real misanalysis, the incorrect analysis, really was the ramifications of the sanctions, and they have boomeranged. They cost, and they're crushing America. They're going to crush Europe. And so it's these sanctions are the fucking dumbest thing the U.S. has ever done.
Cheers, guys.
I'm more on that later. But anyway, Larry Johnson thinks there is another motive behind the story. So this is a quote from Larry Johnson. Frankly, I find it hard to believe that there are not solid analysts at the Defense Intelligence Agency who know the answers to all these questions. The real problem may not be a lack of intelligence. Nope, it is fear of telling the politicians hard truths they do not want to hear. So that's one idea, is that the U.S. is not telling. Like, a lot of people were afraid to tell Trump anything because he'd just fucking fire them or whatever. But I don't know if I believe either that angle of it. I agree with the main reason I wanted to read this article.
Did you guys see how fast I heated that fucking bucket? I just got one of the tastiest, flavorful dabs of all time. So smooth, so perfect. And so flavorful.
It was that the U.S.
Like a
per the
garden
New York
of
Times,
flowers.
per intelligence, per high level officials, is blaming people on who
That
the
was
loss.
the,
They know that they see the loss in the cards. That's what they show.
That's the wedding crasher.
Now, I don't know if I agree that they didn't have the intelligence.
And I'm
I think
crashing
that's
that
bullshit,
wedding
but-
right now, son.
Oh, actually, so the Popular Resistance article continues to say the exact, I've forgotten about this part, say exactly what I just said. Quote, I do not believe for one moment that the U.S. intelligence services do not know what is going on in Ukraine and in Kyiv. They know that Ukraine has lost the war and will have to sue for peace as soon as possible. So they're deciding on who they can pass the buck to.
Right. So understand this. This whole narrative that we need to send billions of dollars for this war, this is all a lie. They know that we're not going to win this war. They know that Russia has this locked up. That's exactly what this report is saying. You guys, I hope you understand that. If you know anybody out there that's, flying a blue and yellow flag, let them know they're a fucking dumb Nazi bitch.
Always the option for politicians, as Andre assumes is the case, to blame the intelligence and the various agencies which provide it. This was done when the war in Iraq, based on false claims of weapons of mass destruction, started to go bad for the U.S. But what the New York Times piece does is passing the buck from the intelligence community to President Zelensky of Ukraine. Quote, he did not inform us about the bad position.
I just had one of the greatest dabs.
The U.S. literally helped create a Nazi-backed coup in 2014. Put in their hand-picked puppet. Then Zelensky was brought in, funded by a billionaire oligarch in Ukraine, who created him from the get-go. The same billionaire, forgot the guy's name, I'm sorry. The same billionaire who funded Zelensky also owns the media network that played his fucking TV show or movie or whatever it was, the hit movie where he pretended to be the president and he wouldn't take no shit and he routed out corruption, and it was a comedy, it was a hit, and it was played constantly and everyone knew about it, and all of a sudden he started out as a kind of well-known actor, but then he went into like just a huge star, and then when he ran for president, everybody said, yeah, I want the guy that was in the fucking starred in that comedy show.
Hey, will you guys talk to me, please? I'm gonna say this again. Did you guys see that fucking dab? How quick I heated my fucking bucket? Did you guys see that shit? Did you see how many seconds I heated that bitch for? Did anybody notice that? None of you. None of you. Did you guys notice that? Talk to me, man. What's up? What's up? Did you guys see how quick I heated that bucket? You didn't notice? Right? Watch. I'm going to do a dab. I'm going to do a big dab. And watch how fast I heat this thing. Alright? Watch this. See that shit? Ice, come over, bro. Isn't today Saturday? Yeah. Yo, Ice, come over, bro. Okay, come hang out with your boy. Holy shit. Holy moly. Whoa. See how quick I heated that thing, bro? I mean, I'd say, oh yeah, my mouse wheel thing's working again too. I'd say maybe one more second of heat on it, like 5 seconds of heat. Whenever that shit starts smoking inside it, you get a tasty, crazy tasty dab, bro. The thing is you gotta really be ready for it. You gotta have your dab ready. Get that thing going first. Get your dab ready first. And then Dude, this is crazy. I'm gonna go like 5 or 6 seconds on it. That's it. I got a new way of heating my bucket. Holy shit. Dude, I'm HAF.
That same billionaire that funded his campaign also funded the media network, also owns the media network. So this was a plan from the beginning, and the U.S. knew about it. The U.S. was they know, and they watched it all happen. And then now Zelensky is their man, right? And you're telling me that the U.S. is now like, Zelensky refused to tell us about the stuff that was going on. We didn't know. That's my drunk Joe Biden, drunk off whatever fucking prescription pills he snorted up.
Too hot for sure.
The size of the straw that Biden must have to snort that level of prescription pills. What has Zelensky ever told us? Why would Zelensky? Zelensky's... Have you ever seen an interview with Zelensky? All he does is just fucking go on and say, "We need more weapons. Send us weapons now."
I know, right?
So you're telling me he wasn't telling you how bad the situation was? No. Bullshit.
This is all his fault.
Also, the U.S.
He's the one. He's the driving force behind this entire thing.
The U.S. has been funding and arming Nazis. I played the video of McCain and Lindsey Graham there a few episodes back in 2013. The U.S. and Ukraine have been fucking tied at the hip for the past 8 years. Do you really think the U.S. hasn't infiltrated Ukrainian intelligence with the Nazis they're fucking arming? Are you really telling me that our CIA doesn't have a peephole they can look through on what the Nazis are up to that they're arming? Yeah, it's just amazing bullshit. And then they go in to say that the United States Deputy Commander of the United States European Command, Stephen Twitty, has basically admitted this thing is over publicly. And to just conclude this, the professional military and intelligence people know exactly what is up. The Ukraine is already in a very bad situation. The Ukraine is already in a very, very bad
88
situation.
degrees outside,
and from here on, it can only get worse. They expect that the Ukrainian front line will break down. I am sure they are urging, like Twitty does above, for immediate negotiations using whatever third party is available. It is the White House for which such an outcome is not what it had hoped to achieve. It can, in fact, not allow it. It is currently blocking any negotiations because admitting to a loss in Ukraine would give the Republicans more ammunition to damage Biden. But that's not all. Yes, more ammunition to damage Biden, but does Biden need help being damaged? Biden's already fucked. So I don't think Biden needs any help being damaged. I think more it's the American ruling elite, which is partyless. You know, they're one party. It's the American ruling elite that is they're just desperately trying to keep this war going because the sanctions have backfired, and now they're hoping that if they can just keep it going long enough, that the sanctions will continue to grow, that the international community against Russia will continue to grow. And by the way, in case it needs saying, I don't support any invasions, any bombing. I'm against all war. Okay?
Right.
So
That's
me
the point of all
saying
this.
the reality.
That's the point of
this
all
is called
of
being
this,
an adult.
is to end it.
Saying the reality that Russia's gonna win this and that this only ends at a fucking peace table, and how long are you gonna keep forcing people to leave their homes and destroying allowing this war to go on with buildings just blown up left and right? Is that really what you want to do? No, it's only what America wants to do.
Exactly.
It's only the United States and Zelensky
American imperialism at work.
want this shit to go on. And I covered in a recent episode how Boris Johnson was sent to
anytime we wanted to
Kyiv to tell Zelensky not to have peace negotiations on behalf of the United States. Anyway, that's Article 1, showing that the U.S. is looking for people to blame. They're blaming the intelligence now. First it was Zelensky, now they moved on to intelligence. And just remember, in case you were wondering, the U.S. government is now saying, we have no intelligence. Which is one of the few things that's come out of their goddamn face holes that I agree with. Okay, now let's get in to the proof that the war in Ukraine marks the end of the American century. Let's get into let's get into that. So now this is an article that I can't speak to the guy who wrote it. I don't know him, but I think it's got a lot right. It's got a little bit that I'm going to disagree with, but it's got a lot right, and so that's why I wanted to go through this. All right, so the war in Ukraine marks the end of the American century by Mike Whitney. So he starts off by talking about the reserve currency, which is he has to lay that groundwork to get into to why this marks the end of the American century. He says, here's your reserve currency thought for the day. Every U.S. dollar is a check written on an account that is overdrawn by $30 trillion. And unimaginable, don't even for a second try and think about that number. Do not do it, all right? You will pass out and you will hit your head on the desk, okay? You will bleed. If you try and think about $30 trillion, you will bleed from the eyes immediately.
30 trillion.
So, just don't even try to think about it. But he's got a point that the U.S. is crazy in debt. Now, it doesn't matter because our money doesn't matter. But that's you know, he's a little bit saying that. He says the only thing keeping the U.S. dollar from vanishing into the ether is the trust of credulous people who continue to accept it as legal tender. Now, that's true, but I also use it. I'm not. You can't make too much fun of you fucking dopes still believing in the U.S. dollar. You goddamn idiots. And then I go out and I use it.
You can't, Lee. It's okay.
He's talking about me using the dollar when I buy a candy bar or some shit. But
go crypto, bro.
But he's also right that the only reason the U.S. dollar has any meaning is because we give it meaning. But I think what he doesn't seem to mention is that that's true for all currencies. Like any dollar you see, the only thing that keeping it going is the fact that we're keeping it going. It's the fact that we act like this thing matters. It's the fact that you go into a store and you say, and I get, where you tap your phone now, you don't actually hand them a piece of paper, but it's useful for the analogy. But I know the kids, you kids that are listening, they're 15, you're like, wait, it used to be on a piece of paper? Hold on. Slow down. You're telling me that thing when I tap my phone to get a coffee, you used to use paper for that shit? Hold on, did you tap the paper on the desk? Why would you tap a piece of paper on a desk? I'm not following. Could you Could you back up a little? Okay, so
Wait,
you have this
no.
piece of paper, and is
No,
it on your
Lee,
phone?
no.
You stick it in the phone?
Lee, no.
There was no phone. There was no phones. There was nobody had any phones. We were all walking around phoneless. We were just
He would
humans,
totally
just
get
operating
this,
out in the world.
My joke.
It was just like, oh, I'm just here. We all just ran into each other. It was like, I don't know. There's no device telling me where to go. Then we just fucking bumped into things and shit. It was amazing. Back in the '90s, back in the '90s when I was a teenager and shit like that. I had friends starting to get cell phones, but they didn't. All they could do was call their mom. They didn't actually do anything, so it didn't really count. It was like beepers. What do you get? That didn't. But so we were just like, you'd walk out your door and you just like go be a human. That was it. You just had to go be a human. We couldn't be these cyborgs that had I've got all of the world in my hand. I could call an armed gunman with this app right here, and he'd show up in about 12 seconds, and he'd give me an Uber ride home at the same time. It's one app. One app does that. You can have armed gunman and an Uber ride home. Anyway, so let's get back to it. You would tap the dollar bill. Let's get back to the bit I was doing. You tap the dollar bill on the... No. You hand the guy the dollar. You hand the guy the piece of paper. Well, what does he do with it? He puts it in a little drawer. He puts it in a little drawer? Yeah, he just hangs on to it.
The dollar
He just
bill.
hangs on to it. He just hangs on to it. And then and did you have to get it back from him so you could hand the piece of paper to the next guy? No, you never got it back. You never got it back? I'm not understanding. So where'd you get more paper? You had to go talk to other people about it. I don't know. Sometimes you'd go sell some shoes. Sometimes maybe you'd mow a lawn. Sometimes you blow a guy. Whatever you gotta do, you gotta get a few more of the pieces of paper, and then. Can we start over? I'm still not good. But of course, it's the same now, except for placing
And
these paper
that's
tapping your
why
phone.
that bit should have
Anyway,
ended when I
The
said
point
it should
was
have.
that this guy seems to be in this article, which I actually am getting to the part that I very much
Please.
agree with.
Talk about
He seems to be ignoring the fact that no money is backed by anything. It's all
I just
just
heard
in
the
our
news.
heads. It used to be backed by gold, but
Oh no, I didn't. That was weird.
and I know this is going to blow
Whoa,
everyone's
what the fuck
mind.
was that
What's
noise I
gold?
just heard?
It's just a rock.
my dog growl.
It's just a rock that we were like, it's shiny and it doesn't rust. So it is worth a lot. Why is it worth a lot? Because I think of it as being worth a lot. There's other shiny stuff out there, you know? You can like polish a muffler up real good and it'd be shiny. Well, then I guess we start charging in mufflers. I guess you can pay in mufflers now if you shine them. If you shine them well, you can pay for things with a muffler. Now, of course, the one difference though between the dollar, which we give value in our head, and the gold is that there is a limited amount of gold to some degree. Now, tomorrow, someone could find a massive vein of gold in the hillside, and it could change the worth of gold. But that does make a slight difference. The fact that there's a limited amount.
Yeah,
where dollars, we just go. I push this button on the printing machine, and
He talks a lot about the dollar, the value of the dollar, in this article. I'm gonna fast forward it. Hopefully.
later this year, Russia launches an exchange-traded commodities-backed currency that will be used by trading partners in Asia and Africa. Washington's theft of Russia's foreign reserves in April turbocharged the current process, which was further accelerated by banning of Russia from foreign markets. In short, U.S. economic sanctions and boycotts have expanded the non-dollar zone by many orders of magnitude and forced the creation of a new monetary order. Now, this part, absolutely true. He maybe has moved the timeline a little. It basically has sped it up. Russia has been preparing to do this for a little while because they knew that this was coming. They saw what the U.S. was doing. What the U.S. was doing in Ukraine, it was encircling Russia with NATO, having NATO missiles pointed at Russia on their borders, and Russia continually, has asked. And look, I'm not defending all of Russia's foreign policy, but Russia has given ways to stop this from happening. Has given things has given red lines that that they said the U.S. and NATO can't go beyond, Ukraine can't go beyond. They have given ways to stop this from coming to fruition. And at every juncture, the U.S. has kept crossing those lines, just seeing how far they could push Russia. And now we're on the brink of fucking nuclear Armageddon so that the U.S. can have their proxy war. Now, what the U.S. thought would happen, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, they wanted this proxy war. What they thought would happen is they thought Russia would invade the Donbass region and just declare that independent, and that the U.S. could use all of these sanctions. They would have done all the same sanctions if Russia had only invaded Donbass instead of all of Ukraine. They would have done the same sanctions. And so the U.S. thought that would happen. They were pushing it to happen. They funded and armed the Nazis that had been killing people, 15,000 people over the past 8 years in the Donbass region of Ukraine. Russia killing culturally Russian people, and
ethnic Russians.
They thought Russia would invade Donbass, and that they would then be able to put these sanctions on, and that it would crush Russia. That was their idea. That was the U.S.'s grand plan, because they see the weakening of the petrodollar, and they wanted to stop this. They saw Russia befriending China, and they wanted to stop that. So this was the grand plan. This was what they thought would happen. Instead, Russia has fucking thrown it in their faces. And now U.S. is looking for someone to blame. Basically, what the U.S. did is fast forward this process. They created this process, and then they hit fast forward by pushing for war in Ukraine. To continue from the article, just look at the way we've destroyed Russia's currency, the ruble. It's shocking. He's being sarcastic. Here's the scoop. From an article at CBS, so this is mainstream media. This is mainstream media right here. The Russian ruble is the best performing currency in the world this year. This is recently, CBS. Russia's currency has mounted a stunning turnaround.
Such
the
great
ruble is
sanctions.
jumped 40%.
Such great
against the dollar
sanctions.
since
We've got the greatest
This is such a
sanctions.
fucking incredible own
We've
goal.
got great
This is
sanctions.
Honestly,
Such
and
great
look,
sanctions.
yes, it's Joe Biden, but it's the entire U.S. deep state. It's all of them, all right? Don't act like this was Joe Biden hasn't decided what
I want to find the video of Kamala Harris saying great sanctions. I want to find it, dude. Kamala Harris, great sanctions. Kamala Harris, great sanctions. I just want to find that one video I saw of her saying how great sanctions are. That's all I want to find. I know I heard it before.
Russia will plead ignorance and innocence. It will create false pretext for invasion. And it will amass troops and firepower in plain sight. We now receive reports of what appears to be provocations. And we see Russia spreading disinformation, lies, and propaganda.
Blah, blah, blah.
Nonetheless, in a deliberate and coordinated effort, we together are one, exposing the truth, and two, speaking with a unified voice.
Blah, blah, blah.
As President Joe Biden has made clear, the United States, our NATO allies, and our partners have been and remain open to serious diplomacy. We have put concrete proposals on the table. We have encouraged and engaged Russia through NATO, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the United Nations, and bilateral dialogues. We have engaged in good faith.
That's bullshit, too.
Russia continues to claim it is ready for talks, while at the same time, it narrows the avenues for diplomacy. Their actions simply do not match their words.
Speed it up.
And let me be clear. I can say with absolute certainty, if Russia further invades Ukraine, the United States, together with our allies and partners, will impose significant and unprecedented economic cost.
So
Russia will plead ignorance and innocence.
So that's not the video. Such great sanctions. Three months ago? This is from 3 months ago. Maybe this is the one. 5 minutes and 42 seconds.
Continue our State of the Union coverage with Vice President Kamala Harris. Madam Vice President, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Gail.
Let's get right into the speech. It was a tale of two speeches last night. We had to start with foreign policy for obvious reasons because of what's going on in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky is asking the West for more support. And last night, President Biden said Putin has no idea what is coming. I realize you can't share with us administration secrets, but is there another card to play here?
Well, first of all, I think the president did an outstanding job of articulating what is at stake. And what is at stake is that Ukraine is an independent nation, and we, as the United States of America, will stand for its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. The president outlined the extraordinary work that we have been doing with our allies to bring these nations together, in particular the European Union and our NATO allies, to stand in solidarity in support of Ukraine. In fact, just yesterday, most recently, I spoke with world leaders, including the prime ministers of Poland, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, and Romania, talking about the work that we have done as the United States to bring people together.
Anybody trying to find the video,
which are
let
some of
me
the most
know.
severe that we've ever seen, but also the work that we are doing to remain committed to a unified response to what is happening in terms of Russia's aggression.
I hear you on that, but those images are heartbreaking to watch. We see innocent civilians being killed. We see children being killed, and the administration has made it clear there will be no boots on the ground. What will it take? Will anything change that? Will we stand by and watch innocent people continue to be killed here?
Well, Gail, you're absolutely right. It's heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. The image of a missile that struck just right next to a children's playground. The Ukrainians who are as civilians taking up defense of their nation out of pride and also an understanding of what is at stake in terms of their vitality and their independence. So it is heart-wrenching, to be sure. But I will tell you, the president is clear. We are clear. We are not going to put U.S. troops in Ukraine to fight the Russians, not on the ground, not in the air. But we are going to continue working with our allies to, one, defend every inch of territory as it relates to NATO territory, but also what we will continue to do with the billions of dollars of humanitarian, security, and military assistance that we have been providing Ukraine. There is so much at stake, and each day we reevaluate and do more to make sure that we are supporting the Ukrainian people. And President Zelensky, who I met with just about a week ago in Munich, he has shown extraordinary courage, and in this moment, I think he has been an inspiration to all of us.
Let's switch to some of the domestic issues that were raised last night. You know, the president made a point of saying fund the police. He got applause, it seems, from both sides of the aisle on that. But there was very little mention of voting rights. Does this mean that that issue is on the back burner for the administration
Hey,
at this point
Griffin,
in
hey,
time?
Treasure.
The president has been very clear. He was clear again last night in front of the members of the United States Congress. They
They
must
cut
pass
that
the Donald
off.
Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. The president has said over and over again, and we have made very clear that this is about protecting America's democracy against those various states in particular, and state legislators and governors who are in full-on assault on the right of every American who is eligible to actually be able to vote. I've been traveling the country. In fact, later today I'll be in North Carolina. And what we are saying about laws that are being passed that would make it illegal to give somebody who's standing in line to vote food and water is outrageous. Laws that are being passed that make it more difficult for people to drop their ballot off in a drop box.
Okay, let's talk about high priorities when it comes to inflation. The new CBS poll found 70% of Americans disapprove of the administration's handling of inflation. What do you say to those people who say gas prices are just too high, I can't get peanut butter, everything costs more? What are you going to do?
Listen, people are struggling, especially working people, in terms of the price of gas and food, and the reasons include what we need to do to address what happened through the pandemic in terms of supply chain issues, which was a reduction of the availability of goods, and so the prices went up. We also need to deal with one of the biggest issues, which is the cost of living. It's too expensive for working families, and so that's why we have been clear. The president said last night, let's bring down the cost of childcare so that working families don't pay more than 7% of their income in childcare.
How do you do that?
Well, what we do is we pass the legislation that we have been pushing, which will bring down these costs and make living more affordable for working people. That needs to happen, in addition to what we will continue to do to grow our economy. As the president said last night, we have seen the largest amount of growth of our economy in 40 years we've seen in the last year. And that is a statement about the integrity of the policies that we are implementing, but it's also a statement about the resilience of the American people to rise to this moment through very difficult times, in particular around the pandemic.
Thank you.
Man, good luck trying to find this one video. Holy shit. Where is it? Four months ago. Why is it so hard to find, man? Isn't that weird?
This was a productive trip in terms of the extensive bilateral meetings that we had that were in furtherance of the ongoing collaboration and partnership with our allies. It was important in that, as you all know, this is a moment that is very dynamic, if not every hour, certainly every day. There seem to be new moments of interest and also of intelligence. And so we have affirmed, however, all of that being said, through these last couple of days, that this alliance is strong, probably stronger than it was before. And that this alliance has purpose and meaning, founded on shared principles that are very much at play right now.
During your meeting with President Zelensky, he spoke a little bit about asking the U.S. for specific defense aid. Could you talk a little bit about what he asked the United States for and what the U.S. has agreed to offer?
Sure, well, I'll tell you what I think you already know. So far we have offered, and not even offered, we have transferred and given $650 million in aid. We have also made certain loan guarantees, around in particular $1 billion. And that is on top of all of the work that we have done collectively through the NATO alliance to provide support for Ukraine.
Is there anything new that you're planning to offer Ukraine?
Well, what I made clear in our meeting is that, again, this is a dynamic situation, and depending on what happens in the coming days, we will reevaluate the need that Ukraine has and our ability to support. And we have been doing that through the course of these
It's
many
very
months.
dynamic. Yeah, we got you. We heard you. It's fucking dynamic. cannot find it?
So I know you all, well, all eyes around our country and the world are on Ukraine and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and I want to be clear that we know and believe that this is a war of choice. It is unprovoked, it is unwarranted, and it is unjustified. As the President made clear from the beginning, if Russia were to take aggressive action against Ukraine, our response would be swift and certain, and that is in fact what has occurred. Today the President outlined the sanctions, which are going to have a direct impact on Russia's economy, both in terms of sanctions and in terms of export controls. The effect will be immediate on Russia, and we will continue, as we have from the very beginning, to work with our allies and our partners around the world. We are unified in our position on this and in our reaction to this unjustified, unprovoked attack on a sovereign nation. Thank you.
Madam Vice President, is the SCOTUS pick set yet?
So that was along the lines, but where is the video of her speaking about the sanctions and how great they are, man? Why can't I find that? And isn't that weird that I can't find that? Isn't it weird? Five months ago. Got the greatest sanctions.
Amid those tensions between Washington and Moscow, the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has in an interview with CBS Sunday. Harris said Russia could see sanctions not seen before should it invade Ukraine. Harris added that the U.S. is working with allies to stand up for Ukraine's territorial integrity. This comes amid Russia's military buildup on the Ukrainian border. Harris declined to talk about specific sanctions, but said the U.S. is having direct conversations with Russia.
Dude, they're showing the fucking weapons of war. Dude, look at this, man. Look at this. Bro, this is where your $40 billion is going, America. This is where your $50 billion is going, America. This is where your $100 billion is going, world. In case you're wondering, this is what it's going up against, all right? This is where your fucking money's going. Look at this.
Harris added that the U.S. is working with allies to stand up for Ukraine's territorial integrity. This comes amid Russia's military buildup on the Ukrainian border. Harris declined to talk.
Look at those fucking bullets. They're killing people with those motherfuckers. Those are the fucking bullets that are murdering the people that you're clothing and putting fucking weapons on with your billions of dollars. That's it right there. And that's what you think you're going to beat.
About specific sanctions, but said...
Oh, yeah. And this.
The U.S. is having direct conversations with Russia.
Look at that. Look at that fleet. So keep spending your fucking money. This is what you're going up against. And if you ask me, it looks fucking horrific. You know, take a good look. All right, listen, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the. Show. It has been an hour, and I shall go. So you guys take care. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. See you on the next one. Just turn on your notifications to find the next one, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.